The big guy has some explaining to do. We cannot be the city on the hill if we are not first a nation of law and justice.
Senator Tim Scott, who is running for the presidency of the United States of America as a Republican, telling the truth. It's a big problem. You know, the news media doesn't pick up the truth very often. They like the lie. And since we're talking about Hunter Biden and everything, there is a great story in the Washington Free Beacon and not in the Washington Post because it's not a legitimate newspaper. But the Washington Free Beacon has the story. It's Chuck Ross and Joseph Simonson. Joseph Simonson, my apologies. Chuck Ross and Joseph, they report the news at the Washington Free Beacon. The New York Times does not. And here they got a picture of Hunter Biden with a Washington strip club behind him, Archibald's. It's called Archibald's. That's where his baby mama worked. London Roberts is her name. Seems like a very nice person. And she has a 4-year-old daughter now, named Navy Roberts. And Navy, I assume that she named her daughter Navy to rub it in Hunter Biden's face because he was kicked out of the Navy for repeated cocaine abuse violations. But the headline, Hunter Biden deducted payments to hooker and sex club from his taxes, whistleblower says. Now, the news media, no amount of documentation. I was doing my Newsmax show last night, and the liberal on the show, Jason Nichols. It doesn't matter how much evidence is just in front of you on the table. They just will continue to say, there's no evidence of any wrongdoing here. No, there's a veritable mountain of evidence of wrongdoing, and it's documented, and it's in the paperwork and the congressional investigations and on and on. But they'll just continue to say, no, there's nothing here. It always reminds me of a very obscure movie moment, which I think we posted one time, didn't we? The Joey Bishop in The Guide for the Married Man. Just lie. Doesn't matter. You know, it's just right there in front of you. Your wife walks into the bedroom. You're in bed with another woman. You just casually get up, put your clothes on, act like there's nothing going on. She walks out. Just deny it. Just say, what's for dinner? And act like nothing happened.
Charlie!
Imogene Coca.
What are you doing?
Where?
There, with her.
The woman's getting dressed.
Her. How could you?
What?
Joey Bishop.
That.
When?
The Rat Pack.
When I came in, you and she would...
Who?
You know very well who. That woman there.
Where?
See, and then she walks out, and then he just shrugs, and they act like nothing happened. That's what Democrats do. It's The Guide for the Married Man. It's an obscure movie, a very obscure movie. But the theme music is by the Turtles. It's by the Turtles. I do know a lot of useless and obscure stuff, don't I?
Charlie?
What?
What would you like for dinner?
See, then it's just over. And that's what the Democrats do. It's right in front of you. It's right in front of your eyes. And they just act like it's not there and keep going. The Guide for the Married Man. 1960s Technicolor, obscure movie. All right, Hunter Biden deducted tens of thousands of dollars in payments he made to a prostitute and to a sex club from his taxes, IRS whistleblowers told Congress. One whistleblower, an IRS criminal investigator, a senior criminal investigator, whose identity remains a mystery, but who worked on the Biden tax probe. They love that word probe in Washington, don't they? Told members of the House Ways and Means Committee in June, a June 1st interview, that Biden improperly deducted those expenses from his 2018 taxes. Well, I just want to see if he can get away with it. And he's got lawyers and everything. So that's one of the years covered under Biden's plea deal agreement with federal prosecutors. Oh, it's just a misdemeanor. The hookers, the strip club, pay no attention, which critics are deriding as a sweetheart deal. Another whistleblower, IRS criminal supervisory special agent, Gary Shapley, Gary Shapley told lawmakers, he's on the record, that the Justice Department's tax division and the prosecutors handling the Biden probe viewed the deductions as a slam dunk case of tax fraud. The whistleblower's testimony fills in many of the gaps, exactly how Biden evaded paying hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes. Not a problem, though. It's a thing. Payments like the ones described doled out to prostitutes and sex clubs. You belong to any sex clubs, Michael?
Not currently.
Not currently. Okay, well, that's good. And did you deduct them when you were because honestly, the prostitutes and the sex clubs, just amazing stuff. Hundreds of thousands. The doled out to prostitutes and sex clubs were not just unlawful tax deductions, but also may have been violations of federal sex trafficking laws. The whistleblowers alleged if the prostitutes crossed state lines, then it violates sex trafficking laws. And the IRS had indeed located records showing that Biden flew prostitutes across state lines, quote, paying them for their travel, paying for their hotels, and then, a little cash on the nightstand and maybe some crack. No, some crack. See, according to the IRS investigator, a self-described Democrat, you see, here's the thing, the IRS investigator, a self-described Democrat, Biden's unreported a total income in 2018, underreported it by $267,000, resulting in an underpayment of $106,000 in taxes. That included deductions for personal wages and salaries and personal travel expenses paid. It's different being Hunter Biden, isn't it? Personal children expenses. His personal children expenses, just the other day, he was able to get a judge to agree to let him cut the child support payments by 75%. 75% he cut because he's only making millions and millions of dollars a year for doing nothing except, being nervous about it, I hope. Said other personal expenses, the investigator said, according to the transcript of the interview released on Thursday, the investigators told Congress that Biden made deductions for payments to the he had no-show employees, including a woman Biden called West Coast Assistant, right? That's the thing. She was essentially a prostitute, said the investigator. So he had a woman that he paid to keep on tap on the West Coast. Remember, he was living in that Malibu house. How much was that a month? It was a great amount of money. Biden also made $18,000 in wire payments. Wire payments, don't you do that all the time?
$30,000 a month.
$30,000 a month for the Malibu house, $30,000 a month. But he can't pay child support payments. And that's the Malibu house he didn't actually live in. But he had a prostitute that he kept there and wire transferred money, $18,000 payment wired to another woman, using coded language to conceal the purpose of the transaction. Another payment of $10,000 labeled as a, quote, golf club member deposit, end quote, was actually for a sex club membership, but he's deducting them, We've talked to the person that owned that sex club, and they confirm that he was there, the investigator said. Biden went on to deduct that $10,000 expense from his tax return. The embattled first son, who carried on an affair with his late brother's wife and the late brother's wife's sister, just to keep it all in the family, following his own divorce and his late brother's death, has admitted to frequent use of prostitutes and is known as a regular at strip clubs. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I have been to gentlemen's clubs in my lifetime, but the last time was for a friend's bachelor party a long time ago. A place called Good Guys in Washington, D.C. I don't want to promote it, but it's been there for like 50 years. They occasionally refresh the strippers. they don't have the same husband there. And I went to his bachelor party there. And let me just say that his daughter has moved out of the house, right? So that was a while ago. And they didn't have the kids till after they got married long ago. I went to his bachelor party. They had a daughter. The daughter has grown up, gone to college, moved out of the house. So that was a while ago. That was honestly the last time. So the embattled son carrying an affair with his brother's wife following his divorce has admitted to frequent use of prostitutes, is known as a regular at strip clubs, though the sex club in question is not identified. Shapley told investigators that Biden's payment was for membership in Los Angeles. See, the stripper baby mama was in Washington, blocks from the White House. The owner of the Los Angeles club, Sanctum, misspelled SNCTM, because we like to misspell everything in America now. It's part of becoming illiterate. Recently revealed that Biden was a client. That's the word that they use, client. In an ironic twist, the investigation into Biden, who was given the FBI code name Sportsman. It's the investigation. They have a code name for the investigation. It's called Sportsman. Was an offshoot of another FBI probe into a foreign online amateur pornography site that started in November of 2018, the whistleblower said. Shapley said the FBI agent who opened the case found Biden's name on a list of some sort, but did not provide additional details. So some kind of online European porn site. There's Hunter Biden, the president's son, the vice president's son. I ain't no senator's son. It's a nice family, don't you think? Oh, man. If you have a daughter who married a guy that you're not thrilled with, could be worse. Could have been Hunter Biden. Could be a lot worse. All right, let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to the telephone, shall we? Let's go to Heck, calling from Bethesda, Maryland. Heck, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Well, good morning, Chris. Good morning, your loyal listeners here. This is just a reminder for all the listeners who are players out there. When you make it rain at the club, make sure you get the dancers to sign your receipts in case you're audited.
Honestly, deducting, it takes some kind of, I'll just say, gumption, some kind of guts to take these things and try to deduct them from your taxes. But I guess he feels like he can get away with anything, right, Heck?
It's the way the tax code's written. If you look in there, it's probably a legitimate deduction.
Probably part of the tax code written by Joe Biden when he was in the Senate. Because,
that's the way they roll.
That is the way they roll.
Okay, I'll let you get back to doing what you do, you do so well.
Well, thank you. That voodoo that you do so well. Thank you, Heck. In Bethesda, Maryland. That's Montgomery County. That's not the most conservative place in America, I got to say. Whereas I live in Washington, D.C., not exactly a hotbed of conservatism either. Hey, I've got breaking news for all my fellow Americans. Joseph Robinette Biden's dangerous plan to force Americans into a digital dollar goes live in a matter of days. Days, I say. No matter what they tell you, it's not something that's going to help you financially. If you don't take action today, it might end up being too late. The Federal Reserve is being deployed in phases. Phases, I tell you. The initial launch taking place July 1st. That's just days away. That's a week away. It's called Fed Now, and a whole lot of us are going to be completely surprised by it, taken off guard. Everything that we've worked for over the years is at stake, but there is a way for us Americans to legally opt out of the digital dollar scheme before it's too late. Time to call my friends at American Alternative Assets and get your free wealth protection guide. This guide will educate you on how you can protect yourself from the failing dollar and volatile stock market with gold and silver IRAs. Call 888-4-GOLD-20. How easy is that to remember? 888-4-GOLD-20. That's 888-446-5360. Don't let Biden force you to use the government's new digital dollar. Call 888-4-GOLD-20. Call now, 888-446-5360. Individual results may vary. There is no guarantee that past performance will be indicative of future results. Seek your own tax, legal, investment, and financial advice before opening an account. Yeah, the receipts. Well, I'll tell you what, Congress and these investigating committees, they have the receipts. If we only had a legitimate fourth estate in America, I think the Biden family and the Democrats might be in some hot water here.
It's a write-off for them. How is it a write-off? They just write it off. Write it off what? Jerry, all these big companies, they write off everything. You don't even know what a write-off is.
Hey, Chris here with some exciting news. Now you can listen to me live on the WMAL app. Doesn't matter if you're in your car, in the office, on the go. The WMAL app delivers crystal clear around-the-clock news coverage anywhere with cell service or Wi-Fi. So don't miss a second of your favorite shows. Download the WMAL app today on the Apple App Store or at Google Play Store. Yeah, and there's, and I've got Barack Obama coming up too. He's lying, and I'll point that out. Let's go now to the phones. Let's go to Erica, calling from beautiful Winchester, Virginia, home of my favorite Italian restaurant, Violino. Erica, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. Thank you for taking my call. Yes, Violino's is wonderful. So what I was saying to your call screener was the reason that Biden did not lie when he was asked about his son's dealings with these corrupt governments is because they weren't his son's dealings. They were his own dealings. So a slight technicality, but he was able to get away with that.
You know, that is very crafty. Are you an attorney?
No, but my parents always thought I should have been one.
Because we played the audio earlier, and the reporters on Peter Doocy and asked Joe Biden repeatedly, you ever talk to your son about his business dealings? And he says, no, never.
How many times have you ever spoken to your son about his overseas business dealings?
I've never spoken to my son about his overseas business dealings.
See, and you've cracked the code, I think, Erica, because they are his business dealings. And Hunter Biden, the smartest man that Joe knows, is just an underling. So they're really Joe's business dealings. That would unravel the mystery. He could pass a lie detector test, couldn't he?
Yes, he could. I was married to somebody like that.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you can laugh about it, though. My best girl is very, very fortunate. I am truth incarnate. Now, I just described to you that Hunter Biden trying to take the tax deduction for his sex club membership, which he lied, just like he lied on the firearms form. He lied that it was for a golf club, with a country club or whatever. And because he lies all the time. He's a big, fat, crackhead liar and hooker, chaser, stripper, and knocker-upper. And it turns out, here's the headline from the New York Post. Scumbag, and the word scumbag is in quotation marks. Scumbag Hunter Biden was member of exclusive L.A. sex club, Sanctum, spelled N-S-N-C-T-M, since banned, founder claims. Now, here's the thing. The sex club can cost, you can get a membership for up to $75,000. The membership for up to $75,000. Los Angeles Sex Club. You'll be disappointed and disheartened to hear that members of the sex club include Bill Maher and Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow, member of the sex club. You know, there aren't enough antibiotics in the world. So the founder of the elite Los Angeles-based sex club, it's just amazing, has been banned from the X-rated organization after claiming Hunter Biden was once a member and got kicked out for being, quote, a scumbag. Damon Lawner, the founder of Sanctum, identified the first son, Hunter Biden, as an ex-member of the private club. In a since-deleted Instagram post, the Los Angeles Times reported on Tuesday of this week, Lawner alleged that Hunter Biden's behavior at his first sex party was so bad that they had to boot him from the club.
Sweetheart, look at me. You cannot talk to me that way.
Hunter was a member of Sanctum, and I canceled his membership after one party because he's a scumbag, Lawner wrote in the post as a result of the revelation. Lawner, who sold Sanctum in 2019 for $1 million, the low, low price of $1 million, he's been banned from his own club, the club that he founded, according to the Los Angeles Times, because he exposed Hunter Biden. You're supposed to keep it a secret, you know, who's a member and who goes there and stuff. Sanctum, as a private members club, prioritizes the safety and privacy of our esteemed members. When they say esteemed, that means they, need to steam off after they...
I'm more respectful than anyone you've ever met.
He's more respectful than anyone the Russian prostitute has ever met. So says Hunter Biden. If you can't believe him, who can you believe? Consequently, we will neither confirm nor deny the identities of attendees. Furthermore, we uphold a strict code of conduct. And according to the reports, he was grabbing and inappropriately handling, like his father does all the time. Like father, like son. Spanky spank.
Do you have any bruise? Anything? Have I ever touched you in a bad way?
That's I think, a fair question, isn't it? You're talking to your Russian prostitute.
Ever. Have I asked you every time if I could touch you?
He likes to be polite as possible. Hunter Biden kicked out of $10,000 sex club for, quote, grabbing women's asses, is the headline. Acting like a spoiled child. Well, it's because he is a spoiled child. Hunter Biden got kicked out of private sex club for grabbing women's asses and acting like a spoiled child. Founder exclusively told the New York Post, not the Washington Post, because they don't cover the news, they uncover it. President's troubled son is, quote, a really bad guy, not a good person. He's just not, said Damon Lawner, who founded the notorious Sanctum Club, where membership ran as high as $75,000 a year. That's a year. That's not a one-time membership like a country club and then, $1,000 a month or something, $75,000 a year. And Hunter's $10,000 payment led to Lawler receiving an IRS subpoena. He got an IRS subpoena, but Hunter didn't. See how this works? It's a very, very corrupt thing going on here. Really bad guy. But, when you're the Biden family, the news media, I got to tell you, he's not well. He's not a good person. He's not a normal person. He's a sick person. And you know what the fallback is, and this going on with my liberal friend on the Newsmax show as well, Chris Plant and the Right Squad, 9 o'clock Eastern time, Monday through Friday, he's a drug addict, and we all know people who've had family members who are drug addicts. So now the excuse is his drug addiction for everything, and from the tax evasion to the conduct and the strip clubs and the sex club and everything else. It's all, he did drugs. And so that is his get out of jail free card for everything, according to the Democrat Party. All right, let's go to, let's take a phone call, Michael. Let's go to the phones. Then we're going to get to Barack Obama, because Barack Obama is, he's not a big fat liar. He's a skinny little liar. Let's go to Cody, calling from Rapid City, South Dakota, listening on the WMAL app. Cody, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Mr. Plant, it is an honor. Can you hear me? I'm careening with reckless abandon through the beautiful Black Hills of South Dakota.
I can hear you very well. I can almost hear the Black Hills from here.
Yes, you can. There's a lot to touch on, and I'm not talking like a Joe Biden shower scene.
Well, that's best.
A similar sense of humor. My mom always said I had a face for radio. I found it laughable. You were talking about Rachel Levine, Admiral Rachel Levine.
Uh-huh.
I doubt her privates stand at attention.
Well, it's hard to say, and really, the entire world does not want to know.
No, and nor do I, thankfully. But I also wanted to throw this in there. You were talking about the Jonestown thing in Guyana. Now, you can't make jokes about that because the punchline is way too long.
Oh, hey, bada boom, because there was 900 people stood in line, for the Kool-Aid, and then everybody died. Because the punchline can't make jokes about Jonestown because the punchline is way too long.
I knew you would get it. The whole Hunter Biden thing, when he was talking with his father, that instantly raised a red flag. It should have been his non-birthing parent.
Well, they don't stick by their own rules, though, do they, Cody? Were it not for double standards, as we know, liberals would have no standards at all.
You're exactly right. And he says he has an incredible ability to hold a grudge. He can't hold a crack pipe. That's why he's smoking Parmesan off the carpet. Is that correct?
True, and there are lots of pictures of him asleep in bed with the crack pipe hanging out of his mouth, and some of the hookers have taken pictures of him passed out in the bathtub with the crack pipe all over the place. And look, he's got a drug problem. And then, but Cody, one of the big lies I like, the more recent big lies, first, the U.S. attorney in Delaware is a Trump appointee. Yeah, he's a Trump appointee after he was twice appointed by Obama and then selected by the two Democrat senators in Delaware and pushed on Trump, and Trump went along with it. Not to
mention the only holdover judge of, I don't know what it was, 52?
Right, that's right. And
52 judges.
And they like to say that he's a holdover, and he's a Trump holdover. Well, in the Trump administration, he was a holdover from the Obama administration, but they leave that part out because they like to lie about everything.
Of course they do.
And one of the lies they're peddling now, and the New York Times was doing this, and CNN is doing this, he only became addicted to drugs after his brother Beau tragically died. But we played audio, yesterday or the day before, of Hunter Biden bragging about smoking crack with Marion Barry, when Hunter Biden was a sophomore or junior at Georgetown University. So that's 1990 or 1991, right?
Marion Barry, you know what? I actually smoked crack with Marion Barry. I swear to God.
Jesus.
I was in Georgetown, and he used to go to a place right next to the guards, and I was a sophomore, I guess. He's
a sophomore.
Junior when that happened. But
maybe a junior, sophomore, or junior. So that's 1990, 91. He's smoking crack with Marion Barry. And so the news media just lies about everything, and they cover up everything it's good to be a Democrat. Know what I mean, Cody?
Yes, I do. Unfortunately, I am not a Democrat, but fortunately for me, my wife doesn't follow politics because she will not listen to this show. She has bigger fish to fry. She's a nurse. She's a brilliant, beautiful lady. But she does not know that I can actually deduct from the peeler joint that I frequent regularly. I mean, Gentlemen's Club, sorry.
A beautiful, wonderful, brilliant nurse wife is a wonderful thing. And Rapid City, South Dakota. South Dakota's obviously a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. And, they're doing TV commercials for South Dakota. Here in Washington, D.C., I've seen them encouraging people to move to South Dakota. Have you seen those?
I have not. That's incredible to hear.
Yeah, they probably don't show them.
I'm sure you're familiar with our governor.
Yes, of course, yes. Yeah, do you love her or do you not love her? I
am a fan.
Oh, good.
There's a lot of people here in our town in Rapid City that is not a fan, but she's solid. She's conservative. She gets the job done.
Yeah, I think she's fun. I like her, and she's plain spoken, as you might expect. Kristi Noem, of course, and she's in the TV commercials, encouraging people to move to South Dakota. So you better be on the lookout for that. Because people might move there, and that will not make South Dakota better.
I will fight every one of them.
You should do that. You should do that. All right, Cody, my friend, thank you for calling in. Have a great South Dakota day. Great day in the Black Hills. That's wonderful.
Will do.
Thanks, buddy. That's good. All right, let's go to Barack Obama because he's we're barely going to get to the submarine today, which is a crazy story. But Barack Obama. Not everybody's going to share Barack Obama with you, and we want to do that. Barack Obama did an interview with a CNN fluffer by the name of Christian Amanpour. Christian Amanpour, live from Belgrade. And Christian Amanpour sat down with Barack Obama, who has many oceanfront mansions. Okay, well, 2 oceanfront mansions, plus his mansion off of Embassy Row in Washington, D.C. Plus, I think he's still got a big house in Chicago, doesn't he? Here's Christian Amanpour. The U.S. is really so old and crusty and creaky. It's a terrible country, isn't it?
So let's ask about the creaky or not institutions in the United States.
So let's ask.
The spectacle of a former president being federally indicted. Mm-hmm. How is the rest of the world, the democratic world, maybe even the non-democratic world, meant to interpret that indictment and indeed the fact that a federal indictee is able to run for the highest office in the land, even the world? Able to.
Now, how about the investigations and the money coming out of Ukraine and Romania and China going to the current president of the United States and the IRS deal and Hunter Biden? And how about, you going to ask about that? Christian, it's the creaky institutions of the United States. And the former president, possible future, he's allowed to run for president when we've accused him of things of which he has not been found guilty. How dare you allow someone to run for public office in the United States when the Democrats have accused them of things? Barack Obama, who became incredibly wealthy, just fantastically, tens and tens of millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. Oceanfront estate with rolling lawns and Martha's Vineyard. He bought the Magnum PI house, Robin's Nest, in Hawaii, tore it down to build something much bigger and better. By the way, they also use that house in scenes of the old Hawaii Five-0. Barack Obama.
It's less than ideal, right? But the fact that we have a former president who is having to answer to charges brought by prosecutors does uphold the basic notion that nobody's above the law.
Except the Bidens, of course, except Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. And nobody's above the law, except, and no sense of irony, once again. And Christian Amanpour. And here's Obama. You shouldn't listen to talk radio or watch Fox News because you might find out about all the true stuff like, the strip club and Hunter Biden and the getting kicked out and the baby mama and Hillary Clinton's dossier and Biden and Ukraine and Biden and China and Biden and then the laptop and Russian collusion isn't real and the vaccines and myocarditis. And, you might find out about Haitians not being whipped while they're coming across the border illegally. But here's Barack Obama's media consumption advice.
If you are watching Fox News, I've said this before, if you're watching Fox News or following some right-wing radio host or getting Facebook feeds within that bubble, your reality is different than if you read the New York Times or watch your program.
That's a fact, Jack.
When people are getting such fundamentally different facts, or what they think to be facts, and their worldviews are so skewed in one direction or another, then it's very hard for democracy to work.
Yeah, hands up, don't shoot. Good people on both sides. The Border Patrol whipping the Haitian migrants. Hillary Clinton destroying 33,000 emails under subpoena by the Congress, ordering her minions to use hammers to smash their communications devices. The big guy is Joe Biden himself. None of that you're going to get from the New York Times or from Christian Amanpour. None of it. But there's Barack Obama. I wouldn't take his media advice. That's a fact. Right back. We got one more Barack Obama, too. Not going to be able to get to the submarine very much. It's a crazy story, but other people can spend a lot of time talking about that. The corrupt president and his corrupt son. and the corrupt Justice Department and the corrupt IRS. Well, we got a great tweet from a listener here sent to the Chris Plant Show, who says, I was a senior at Georgetown University when Hunter was a freshman and Pelosi's son was a sophomore. Lots of crazy stories, including some at Good Guys. See, Good Guys, I mentioned Gentlemen's Club with exotic dancers. And it's on Wisconsin Avenue, just up from Georgetown University by about a mile. It's something of an institution in Washington. All right, let's get to. Thank you for that. That's fun. I have no doubt. All right, let's go to James Cameron, soundbite number 11. The news media was all over James Cameron. He was on CNN and ABC and BBC because he made a movie called Titanic. So naturally, he's got to be an expert on all these things. And he said, hey, you can't fool me. I knew what was going on right away.
I didn't hear about it until I woke up Monday morning. I immediately got on the phone to some of my other, contacts in the deep submersible community. Within about an hour, I had the following facts. They were on descent. They were at 3,500 meters, heading for the bottom at 3,800 meters. Comms were lost. And navigation was lost. And I said instantly, you can't lose comms and navigation together without an extreme catastrophic event.
Now, I've got to say, my initial instinct, they went down on Sunday and disappeared lost contact after 45 minutes and did not come back to the surface. My conclusion was pretty much the same as James Cameron's.
So this entire week has just felt like a prolonged nightmarish charade where people are running around talking about banging noises and talking about oxygen and all this other stuff, and their Coast Guard is out with airplanes.
Yeah, and I've got to say my instincts were exactly the same, that it was almost immediate, that it was catastrophic, that there was no hope early on, because, I've got a lot of background in related things. Hey, listen, have a beautiful all-American weekend. Kiss the people you love and have a beer, but not a Bud Light.